Hey y'all, coming to you from the international headquarters, ScottieDTV. But I was out to the 2022 SEMA Show, and I came across this very cool 1966 Chevrolet Corvette. I think y'all are gonna like. Let me get the camera turned around. We'll take a quick look at it. Chris, awesome to see you out at SEMA this year, brother.
Man, Scott, I appreciate seeing you all so much. Man, it was great to be back out there with all my friends and my vendors and sponsors and manufacturers and my car builder buddies. It was just awesome to be amongst all the people again, if you will.
I bet, man. I mean, we were a year ago. We were so worried for you it wasn't funny, and I mean, I knew you were out, and I knew you were doing better. And I ran into Justin Nichols, and he was like, "Hey, did you talk to Chris?" And I was like, "No, I haven't talked to him." He goes, "I talked to him this morning," and I'm like, "He's here?" He's like, "Yeah, he's here." So that was priority was to get over there and talk to you, find out how things were going.
Man, I appreciate it so much, man. I appreciate everything you do for us as builders too. I mean, without people like you showing our stuff off and what we can do, man, we'd be left in the dark somewhere. But it was great seeing you out there. I think I took for advantage so long, my friends in the industry. Now I appreciate it more so. I haven't said thank you for what you do.
Oh, dude, listen, like I said, you're more than welcome. I don't want to take that as a discount. So yeah, no, you're more than welcome. But at the end of the day, like I tell all y'all, I'm just in amazement at how you guys can take a flat piece of metal or fiberglass or whatever it is and just take it out of your head and be like, "Man, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that." And then whatever, a year and a half, 2 years later, bam, there it is.
Right on.
Tell me what you did to this, what is it, 66 Vette you had out there, right?
66 Vette, yes. This belongs actually to a friend that's local, which we don't get a lot of local guys, but Alan hung around their shop for a little while, and some of the stuff we knocked out, we did sleds and Cadillacs and Lincolns and Camaros and Corvettes and all kinds of stuff, and well, anyhow, he wanted a car for himself. Alan's 77 years old, and he married this lovely lady, Pam, and her brother had this Corvette, almost brand new, bought in 66, late 66. And he drag raced it. It was a big block Corvette. And in 66 through 67, 68, 69, David, her brother, just beat the snot out of this Corvette. Drag raced it, ripped the front end off, ripped the quarters off it, had a drive shaft end come through the floor. And it was just a whipped up old shell of what David had back then. Well, Alan stumbled on it, and he wanted to do it. Until he told me this story, I was like, we can find you a nicer Corvette. We're not doing this Corvette. This Corvette's junk. And he told me a story about Dave, and he was younger growing up and drag racing it and how it meant to him. So we knocked it out for him anyhow. So I hope he enjoys it and puts the thing on the floor and has fun with it now, man.
Well, I was going to ask if you made any body modifications to it, but obviously this thing's pretty much been reconstructed from front to back.
Yeah, it has. So the front end was actually junk on it. The quarter panels ripped off, and the floor was out of it. So we reconstructed the whole body, a whole new front end. It's all close to stock. We just sharpened it up and extended the rockers a little bit, and we tucked the front bumpers and tucked the rear bumpers, because to me the bumpers on those Corvettes looked almost like a shelf, like where you'd want to sit your beer if you're working on something, you know what I mean? So we tucked all them in, and it just basically cleaned the car up and made it more modern and more hot roddy, but it's pretty close to stock.
What about wheels? Do with those?
After we finished the body and stuff, and Mike Curtis Speed has done my wheels for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so when he's left Boyd. Mike did the one-off wheels for me again at Curtis Speed, and of course he nails every set of wheels he does for us. He does several sets a year for us. And
are they real knockoffs?
They're not. They just look like it. And then the cover is just looks like a knockoff, but they actually hide the lugs behind it then.
Right. No, that's very cool. I think they fit the car perfectly. Well, what about that hood? Is that custom?
The hood is a 66 hood. Alan, this is, when we build a car for somebody, we bounce ideas back and forth no matter who it is. I'm a fan of the 67 hood. Everybody knows what a 67 hood looks like because it's done all the time and everywhere. But Alan wanted the 66 hood because that's what I remember David with. So we went with the 66 hood, but we had Dan from Illumicraft. Dan does like a lot of our aluminum work, our grills, and matter of fact, he did a grill on that Corvette, and the emblems and that kind of stuff. But he cut the louvers in the side of the hood for me, mount them. But other than that, it's pretty close to a stock 66 hood. Just cleaned up and sharpened up a little bit.
What about interior?
Chuck Hanna, Hot Rod Interiors, out of Mooresville, North Carolina, handled our interior. And this is probably the 50th interior he's done for me, so he's done a few of them. It's a standard Chuck Hanna interior. It's badass. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. He has his own style. If you look at the inserts in the doors and the seats, they're killer. Mercedes carpet and the leather inside and all the stitching is spot on. The stitching is, spread apart or goofy, but Chuck has an eye for interior. No matter what anybody says, we can design it all, but we can't all sew leather. We can't all paint. We can't all mill aluminum. We can have in our head what we want, but we need help along the way. The days of I did it all myself, I think we're dwindling. We need experts in this field now to help us out with these projects now.
I'll tell you, I see several builders who should farm out things like their interiors. Nowadays, like you said, I think that the trend now is, especially I was noticing at SEMA this year, is there's 3 different builders signs sitting on one car. So whose car is this and who really built it? You come to find out the fabrication was done at one place, the paint was done somewhere else, and the mechanical driveline was done at another place.
Somebody can have an idea. Somebody can draw it up and work out all the details. But can somebody actually make their own wheels? Can they actually sew their own leather? Can they actually paint and do body work and metal work and chrome plating, build their own gauges, build their own air conditioning? Well, there's some of the stuff I can't do. I can't build air conditioning and gauges, and I can't sew leather, you know. And that's why I have experts and friends to help us.
Nor should you build gauges, because that would take way too much time. Let's just let Classic Instruments worry about the gauges.
Right on. That's what we do with this Corvette here. So,
what color is it?
So the paint is a candy beige coat from Axalta. We were with another company for years, so we switched to Axalta 2 years ago. I was with DuPont or Axalta years ago, and I'm glad I'm back, man, because that green pops, doesn't it? Who would have thought green popped?
Yeah.
I'd never thought of green popping, but it really kicks it in the sun. And the 72-500 clear, man, it sands and buffs so nice.
Yeah, no, it turned out beautiful.
You know, it's hard to beat that LS3 and the 4065 transmission and the Inglés injected. So I think it's 480 horsepower-ish there, which is plenty in a Corvette, you know, of that size and weight and stuff, you know. Yeah. If you get much more than that, and you can hurt yourself quick, you know.
In the day, first of all, I don't think people realize what it costs to get above 700 horse. When you start wanting that much horsepower, it starts costing a lot of money. And 2, what do you do with it? You know, I mean, at 1,000 horse, you're breaking loose at 125. I mean, who wants to do that? Not you don't. Trust me, I've been in the car when it does, and you don't. That's not what you want it to do.
So if somebody has a new Corvette with 700 horsepower, 800 horsepower, that's not like driving a hot rod with 700 or 800 horsepower without the analog brakes, without the traction control, without the, you know, it'll come sideways on you in a hurry if you're not careful, if you get 700 horsepower in a hot rod. Well,
before we run, anybody we need to give a shout out to, or anything else that I'm missing about the car?
I guess we threw our friend's catalog at this car, so let's mention, we already mentioned Classic Instruments did the gauges, Vintage Air did the air conditioning, Chuck did the interior, Chuck does all interiors, Mike Curtis handled all the wheels, Axalta helped us out with the paint on that thing. Billet Specialties and Inglés Injection. Billet Specialties has some killer valve covers on there, and the Inglés Injection, which I was a little worried about, it works flawlessly. I mean, it works way good. I was surprised about that. So, no, I think we got them all. If I missed somebody, I apologize, but we try to help everybody out here, right?
Right on. No, that's what we want to do. I mean, all these things, these cars, well, I'm talking to Chris Ryan, but he's not the only person or the only thing that it took to make this sit on the floor of SEMA 2022.
We all have to work together to make this small world go around, and I appreciate them all.
Right on. And let me do this before we run. And let me give you a big shout out. I know everybody knows that you were in that accident. You still showed up at the Dirty Dozen. You had employees bring the Trans Am for me. We're talking 3 days after you almost lost your life. And
that's right.
Let me give you a big shout out to not only you, but those employees and the whole shop. It went off without a hitch. We wish you were there. We were praying for you. But at the end of the day, I want you to know, them boys out on the road represented you really, really well, Chris.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm blessed to have the people I have here with me right now. And great guys. And they appreciate the weekend. And what you do in Pigeon Forge with that Dirty Dozen, that's killer. And I missed that. The cars are only a part of that aspect, you know, talking with people and BSing and having a drink or going something to eat, you know, but the cars are, you know, only a part of what we enjoy about the Dirty Dozen and going to Pigeon Forge with y'all. So we'll be there next year.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. And again, thanks so much for giving me some time today.
I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you so much. Have a great one, man.
Yeah, you too. So there you go from the 2022 SEMA Show, a very cool 1966 Corvette from Chris Ryan and Ryan's Riding Custom. Hope you all have enjoyed it. See ya! Hey y'all, make sure you subscribe to this channel and visit ScottieDTV.com for an easy way to search the hundreds of videos I have posted. Either click the link in the description or the one at the end of this video.